The alien empire believed humans were the weakest species in the galaxy. According to their records, humanity was divided, emotional, and primitive, a species constantly fighting itself, a species that could never unite. But on the day the sky turned black, the entire galaxy was about to learn how wrong they were. If you love watching humanity prove the galaxy wrong, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It started like any other normal morning on Earth. In New York, people rushed to work through crowded streets. In Tokyo, trains moved like clockwork across the city. In London, office workers carried their morning coffee under gray skies. And across cities like Lahore, Karachi, Delhi, Paris, and Sydney, life continued exactly as it always had. Ordinary, peaceful, predictable. Then suddenly, something strange began happening in the sky. At first, people thought it was a storm. Some believed it was a satellite malfunction. Others thought it was some kind of military exercise. But then people started looking up, and the world stopped. Hanging in the sky were ships, not airplanes, not satellites. Ships, massive structures made of dark metal. Some of them stretched for miles. They hovered silently above the largest cities on Earth. Their surfaces glowed with cold blue light. Their shadows swallowed entire skylines. Within minutes, phones came out everywhere. Videos flooded the internet. Live streams spread across every platform. One word began trending across the entire planet: aliens. Within 10 minutes, humanity realized something terrifying. We were not alone, and they had arrived. Then suddenly, every screen on Earth turned on. Phones, televisions, billboards, tablets, even satellites began repeating the same signal. A single transmission. The image flickered, and then a figure appeared. It was tall and thin. Its body was covered in dark, polished armor. Its face was pale and sharp, but the most disturbing part were its eyes. Cold, calculating, not human in any way. When it spoke, its voice echoed across the entire planet. Calm, confident, unemotional. People of Earth, we are the Zerathon Empire, the oldest and most powerful civilization in this region of the galaxy. Across the world, billions of humans watched in silence. Military bases went into full alert. Jets rolled onto runways. Missile systems powered online. But no one moved yet. Everyone wanted to hear what the aliens wanted. The alien continued speaking. We have observed your species for many of your decades. We have studied your wars, your politics, your technology. The alien paused slightly. Then it said the words that ignited anger across the planet. You are among the weakest civilizations we have ever encountered. People stare at the screens in disbelief, some in fear, some in rage. The alien smiled slightly. For this reason, we will offer you mercy. You have 24 hours. Lay down your weapons, dissolve your governments, and accept the authority of the Zerathon Empire. The alien leaned closer to the camera. Then it said the sentence that would later echo across the galaxy for centuries. Because if you attempt to resist, this war will last 7 minutes. The transmission ended, and for a moment, the entire planet went silent. Inside the White House, an emergency meeting had already begun. In Moscow, generals stared at tactical displays. In Beijing, scientists analyzed orbital data. Across every military command center on Earth, the same question was being asked: do we surrender, or do we fight? But something else was happening. Something the aliens had absolutely no idea about. Deep underground, inside facilities that officially did not exist, a hidden protocol had just been activated. Codename Gaia Defense Network, a global system secretly built over decades. Experimental weapons, orbital satellites, military AIs. An entire military infrastructure of Earth was now linking together into one synchronized defense. A scientist stared at the incoming fleet data. Thousands of warships. Energy signatures stronger than anything humanity had ever seen. Technology centuries ahead of Earth's. He quietly whispered, "They think humanity is divided." A general beside him responded calmly, "They're about to meet the version of humanity that shows up during war." On the central screen, the alien fleet map expanded. The scale was overwhelming. Ship after ship after ship. Enough firepower to wipe out civilization in hours. For a few seconds, the command room fell silent. Then the system powered on. A calm artificial voice filled the room. Gaia Defense Network online. Global military synchronization complete. Analyzing enemy capabilities. Numbers appeared across the screen. Probability calculations. Weapon comparisons. Survival projections. Then the AI spoke again. Probability of human extinction, 82%. Several people in the room took a slow breath, but the AI wasn't finished. However, human adaptability factor detected. War outcome uncertain. At that exact moment, high above Earth, an alien scout cruiser shifted position in orbit. Its crew had no idea. It had already been targeted by a weapon humanity had never revealed before, a weapon the aliens had never imagined possible. And as targeting systems locked into place, one final message appeared on the command screen: counterattack ready. Below them, the entire planet waited. The aliens believed the war would last 7 minutes. They were about to discover something the galaxy had forgotten. Humans don't surrender. The alien empire expected fear. They expected chaos. They expected humanity to crumble within hours. They were wrong. If you're amazed by humans proving the galaxy wrong, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Only gets crazier from here. It started with a single pulse of light over the Pacific. A sudden flare from an experimental satellite. Its energy redirected in a way no alien could predict. Seconds later, the alien scout cruiser in orbit above Earth shuddered violently. Systems failed. Shields flickered. A hull breach appeared almost instantly. On the ground, the world held its breath. No one expected humans to fight back, but they did. Across continents, humanity's military forces had synchronized in secret. AI systems that had been dormant for decades suddenly came online. Satellites, fighter jets, naval fleets, and underground defense facilities all connected in a single, seamless network. Humans weren't just defending. They were coordinating attacks the aliens had never imagined. In New York, a squadron of fighter jets launched into orbit. Using experimental plasma cannons and AI-assisted targeting, they struck alien vessels with precision. In the Indian Ocean, submarines fired advanced torpedoes that followed alien energy signatures, moving with impossible accuracy. In Europe, drones armed with electromagnetic pulse devices disabled alien communications, leaving cruisers blind in orbit. Every attack was a risk. Every strike meant humans were putting themselves directly in the line of fire. But the aliens had underestimated something fundamental: the unpredictability of humanity. They had always relied on logic, efficiency, and technology. Humans thrived on improvisation, on creativity, on daring the impossible. And that improvisation worked. One of the alien commanders stared at the feed. His massive holographic display flickered as another cruiser exploded mid-orbit. "This is impossible," he hissed. "They should have no means to attack us." But humans had a plan. While the aliens expected a slow, desperate resistance, Earth had a secret weapon: the sacrifice of its own infrastructure. Satellites, power grids, and even some cities' energy networks were used as bait to blind alien sensors. And it worked perfectly. The aliens, accustomed to dominance, were now reacting instead of attacking. They were off balance. Across the globe, humans were hitting targets that no one thought they could reach. One experimental weapon, fired from the Australian outback, disabled a major alien energy hub. Ships lost coordination. Shields failed. Chaos rippled through their formations. In orbit above Earth, a cruiser tried to retreat, but another human squadron was already in position. They had predicted the aliens' flight pattern using adaptive AI, something no other species in the galaxy had ever done. Another cruiser exploded. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before. And yet, despite the victories, the cost was clear. Hundreds of soldiers had been lost. Entire experimental fleets were destroyed to achieve these first blows. But humans didn't falter. They never did. And in the midst of the chaos, the alien command grew desperate. "How is this possible?" demanded the admiral. "We are superior in every metric. Superior technology. Superior numbers. They should be nothing." But the humans had a trait the aliens couldn't quantify. Fear, yes, but alongside it, courage, creativity, sacrifice. And the aliens had underestimated it. On Earth, in a war room deep beneath the Alps, a young commander looked at the screen and whispered, "They thought they'd win in 7 minutes. They have no idea what's coming." And that was the moment everything changed. The galaxy thought humanity was weak. They were wrong, because humans had just fired the first real shot. But the aliens weren't done. Far from it. As Earth celebrated its first victories, the alien empire mobilized their main forces. They were coming. And this time, nothing on Earth would be able to hide. The aliens thought humanity's resistance was a minor inconvenience. A few destroyed ships. Some clever tricks. Nothing they hadn't faced before. They were wrong. but they were patient, calculating, and ruthless. If you're on the edge of your seat, make sure to like the video and subscribe, because humanity is about to face its darkest hour. The skies over Earth burned red with fire. The Zerathon Empire unleashed their full might. Orbital weapons of unimaginable power descended, targeting cities, military bases, and critical infrastructure. Entire coastlines were obliterated in moments. New York's skyline disappeared under a blinding beam of energy. Tokyo streets melted into chaos as entire districts vaporized. London, Paris, Delhi, Karachi, the destruction was precise, terrifying, and total. Humans were losing, and fast. Yet amid the devastation, the spirit of humanity refused to break. In the bunkers, command centers, and hidden bases across the globe, humans were still planning, still coordinating, still fighting. They had already learned one vital truth. Survival wasn't guaranteed by firepower. It was guaranteed by adaptability. And that's when humanity revealed its secret weapon. Deep within an underground facility in Switzerland, a massive AI system hummed to life. The aliens called it impossible. The humans called it Prometheus. Prometheus wasn't just a machine. It was a war strategist, a global network, a learning system that adapted faster than any alien AI. Every attack, every maneuver, every weakness the aliens revealed. Prometheus absorbed it, analyzed it, and created new strategies. And humans were using it. As alien cruisers advanced toward Earth's orbit, Prometheus predicted their paths. It calculated counterattacks that no alien could anticipate. Humans struck where they weren't expected. They disabled one of the Zerathon Empire's flagship weapons mid-firing sequence, sending it into self-destruction. They hacked into alien communication satellites, feeding false coordinates, leading entire fleets into traps. And the aliens, for the first time in their long history, felt confusion. Their perfection, their logic, failing against a species they had deemed weak. A Zerathon admiral slammed his clawed hand on the command console. "This cannot be," he roared. "They are supposed to be primitive. Their technology is inferior. And yet, everything we do fails." Meanwhile, on Earth, human pilots and soldiers were risking everything. Every strike meant lives lost. Every maneuver meant sacrifice. Yet with every loss, Prometheus adapted, learned, and turned the alien strength against them. The tide of war was subtle, almost invisible, but it had begun to turn. The alien empire, the invincible conqueror of hundreds of civilizations, was now on the defensive, and humans were gaining ground, slowly but surely. In a command room in Moscow, a general stared at a live feed of the orbital battles. "Do you see this?" he whispered. "They're learning faster than we ever could have predicted." Outside, missiles screamed to the sky, and alien ships erupted in flames. And yet, despite the victories, one terrifying fact remained. The Zerathon Empire had only just begun. They would strike back harder, faster, more destructively than ever. And humanity was running out of time. The aliens thought the war was over. They were wrong, because humanity wasn't done, not by a long shot. And that was the moment the galaxy realized humans were not just fighting, humans were evolving. The alien empire had expected an easy victory. They had crushed civilizations before. Entire planets surrendered at the mere mention of their name. But humans were not surrendering. If this story gives you chills, make sure to like the video and comment HFY below, because what comes next will shock you. The war had reached a turning point. Prometheus, humanity's adaptive AI, had begun predicting alien strategies before they even happened. Every attack the aliens planned, every maneuver, every trap, humans anticipated it. On the surface of Earth, coordinated strikes struck alien supply lines, crippling key cruisers. In orbit, human fighters executed daring maneuvers, flying closer to enemy ships than anyone thought possible. They dodged beams, missiles, and energy blasts that could vaporize them in an instant. Each battle became a chess game. Humans were suddenly winning. The aliens were confused, frustrated, panicked. "Why is this happening?" demanded an alien admiral. His voice trembled, something rare among their species. "This is impossible. Our plans, our calculations, everything fails." They had underestimated humanity's greatest strength, adaptability. Humans learned. Humans improvised. Humans sacrificed. And with each sacrifice, humanity became stronger. A squadron of human pilots, aware their mission was almost certainly suicidal, launched into an alien blockade. Their orders were simple: distract the fleet, buy time for the Earth's defenses. And they did. Against impossible odds, they struck critical systems, crippled weapons platforms, and disappear before the aliens could retaliate. On Earth, scientists watched as Prometheus recalculated probabilities, designing new attacks in real time. It was no longer just a war of firepower. It was a war of intelligence, emotion, and unpredictability. The aliens realized too late that no number of ships or advanced weapons could match a species that could learn, adapt, and fight back in ways no one in the galaxy had ever imagined. And then, somewhere deep in the asteroid belt, hidden from alien sensors, humans were preparing another secret move. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before. Small victories began to stack. A down cruiser here, a destroyed weapons platform there. Each success fueled morale of soldiers on the ground and the people in cities still standing. Every time the aliens thought they had humanity cornered, humans turned the tables. And yet, the aliens were still far stronger, still far more advanced. The war was far from over. But one undeniable truth was emerging. The humans were evolving faster than the Zerathon Empire had ever seen. And in the deep command chambers of the alien fleet, the whispers began. These humans, they are not like any species we've encountered. They are dangerous, unpredictable, impossible. And as the humans celebrated their small victories, a larger battle loomed on the horizon, one that could change everything. The aliens thought they had controlled the war. They were wrong, because humanity had just begun to fight on its own terms. And the galaxy was about to take notice. While the aliens focused all their firepower on Earth, they didn't notice what humans had been hiding. If you're excited to see humanity shock the galaxy, like the video and subscribe, because this part changes everything. Far beyond Earth's orbit, hidden among the asteroids, a secret human fleet had been quietly constructed for decades. Ships of every size and design, built with ingenuity, stealth technology, and weapons the aliens had never imagined. They were small, fast, adaptive, and deadly. For centuries, humans had prepared for the day the galaxy would come knocking. And now, that day had arrived. The alien empire believed that the earthbound resistance was all there was to fear. They were wrong. The hidden fleet surged forward, silent shadows against the backdrop of space. Sensors detected them only at the last moment. The flagship of the Zerathon Empire, orbiting the moon like a predator circling its prey, was the first target. A coordinated strike team approached from multiple angles. Plasma cannons, guided missiles, and electromagnetic pulses designed specifically to disable the alien shields. The flagship's defenses activated, but it was too late. The humans moved faster than the aliens could calculate. One blast after another tore through the alien hull. Energy shields flickered and failed. Systems overloaded. Inside the flagship, the alien admiral screamed, "Impossible! They should not be able to do this." Explosions shook the massive ship as humans danced through its defenses, striking where it was weakest. And then silence. The flagship was dead in orbit. The hidden fleet retreated, vanishing into the asteroid shadows before the main alien forces could respond. Across Earth, the news spread instantly, not through satellites or TV. This time, it was whispers, transmissions, and intercepted signals. Humans had struck the unstrikable. The galaxy began to notice. Civilizations that had long feared the Zerathon Empire watched in stunned silence as news of defeat reached the Outer Rim. For the first time in centuries, the Empire had lost a major battle. On Earth, celebrations were brief. Humanity had survived, but the war was far from over. Every strategist, every soldier, every citizen knew one thing. The Zerathon Empire would return, and it would come stronger. But humanity had proven something vital. They could strike back. They could surprise. They could win where victory seemed impossible. And somewhere in the cold depths of space, other alien civilizations began to whisper, curious, cautious, and hopeful. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before. They were underestimated. They were bold. They were dangerous. And the story of humanity's fight for survival was only getting started. The galaxy had been watching. For centuries, civilizations had feared the Zerathon Empire. They dominated hundreds of star systems, leaving only whispers of rebellion in their wake. But now, humans were changing everything. If this moment gives you chills, like the video and comment HFY below, because the galaxy was about to see something it had never imagined. From the outer reaches of space, alien civilizations observed the battles over Earth with awe and disbelief. Ships from distant systems hovered silently, sending intelligence, monitoring the unexpected human tactics, and asking themselves questions they had never dared before. Could a species so primitive actually challenge the might of the Zerathon Empire? On Earth, humanity continued its relentless resistance. Every strategy the aliens attempted was countered. Every assault they launched was met with a new tactic, a new surprise, a new adaptation. The hidden fleet from the asteroid belt remained a ghost in space, striking when least expected. Meanwhile, whispers from distant alien worlds began to reach human ears. Some civilizations, secretly opposed to the Zerathon Empire, began sending intelligence, advice, and covert technology to humanity, not because they trusted humans, but because they feared the Empire even more. A council of human leaders gathered in an underground chamber. On holographic displays, they saw messages from alien allies who had risked everything to help. "This changes everything," said a young strategist. "We are no longer alone, not in the galaxy, not in this fight." The humans realized that their struggle had become more than a war for survival. It was now a symbol, a beacon. Across the stars, civilizations whispered the same thing. If humanity can resist the Empire, maybe the impossible is possible. The Zerathon Empire noticed too. Their arrogance turned into alarm. Their intelligence networks began detecting anomalies, messages they could not trace, strategies they could not predict, alliances forming they did not anticipate. One alien admiral screamed orders, furious at the unpredictability of humanity. Why did they adapt so quickly? But humans had a secret the aliens would never fully understand. They fought not just with technology, but with something the Zerathons could never calculate. Instinct, courage, creativity, and hope. Every time the Empire thought the war was under control, humans proved them wrong. And as the galaxy watched, the seeds of a new truth were planted. The humans were not weak. They were not expendable. They were becoming formidable. But the Zerathon Empire would not yield. The next battle would decide more than Earth's fate. It would decide whether humanity could be the first species to truly shock the galaxy. And the aliens were preparing a strike unlike anything humans had faced. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before, and soon it would learn why. The humans were ready. After months of small victories, adaptations, and hidden strikes, the time had come to fight a battle that would echo across the galaxy. If this moment gives you chills, like the video and comment HFY below, because humanity was about to rewrite the rules of war. The Zerathon Empire had concentrated their central invasion fleet in orbit above Earth. Thousands of warships, massive cruisers bristling with weapons capable of annihilating continents, surrounded the planet like a predator encircling its prey. And yet, humanity did not panic. The hidden asteroid fleet emerged from the shadows of the belt, moving with precision. Earth's surface forces coordinated flawlessly, striking simultaneously from hundreds of locations across the planet. The humans had learned the alien strategies, studied every move, and predicted every counterattack. But they were not just copying the aliens. They were inventing new tactics on the fly, using ingenuity, emotion, and sacrifice to turn the enemy's strength into weakness. A squadron of pilots dove into the alien formation, firing not to destroy, but to mislead, to confuse, to bait the Empire's largest ships into traps. Below, human ground forces sabotaged alien orbital relays, cutting communication between cruisers. The galaxy watched in awe as humans coordinated strikes faster than any AI could compute. Inside the alien flagship, the Admiral roared in disbelief. "How is this possible?" he screamed. "They should be defeated. They should be begging for mercy." But humans had something the Zerathons could not calculate. Unpredictability. Sacrifices were made. Ships were lost. Cities damaged. Lives ended. Yet with every loss, humanity learned. With every failure, they adapted. The alien armada faltered. Ships collided. Weapons misfired. Energy shields collapsed under precise, unconventional human attacks. One by one, the greatest vessels of the Zerathon Empire were neutralized, trapped in ambushes designed by minds the aliens couldn't anticipate. And then, the most shocking moment came. The flagship itself, the symbol of the Empire's unstoppable power, was surrounded by humans on all sides. Pilots, fleets, and ground-based energy projectors converged in perfect timing, and the galaxy held its breath. The humans struck together. Explosion after explosion ripped through the flagship, its weapon systems destroyed, its shields gone, its command destroyed. The alien admiral stared in horror as his perfect war crumbled before his eyes. The humans had done the impossible. They had not just fought the war, they had rewritten it. Across the galaxy, civilizations whispered in disbelief. Could a species so small, so underestimated, actually challenge the might of the Empire? On Earth, humans cheered, but the cost was heavy. The sky was filled with smoke. Cities had been damaged, families lost. Yet humanity had survived. And more than survival, They had triumphed. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before. They were not merely fighting, they were reshaping history. The aliens thought the war was theirs. They were wrong, because humans had become something the galaxy had never expected. They were a force that could not be ignored. They were unpredictable, clever, relentless, and the Empire had just learned the most terrifying truth of all. Humans didn't just fight for survival. Humans fought to win. The war was over. The Zerathon Empire, humiliated and broken, retreated from Earth's orbit. They had underestimated humans for the last time. If this story gives you chills, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, because humanity has proven the galaxy wrong. Across the stars, civilizations watched in awe. A species once considered weak had stood against the greatest empire in the galaxy and survived. Not just survived, they had won. On Earth, people poured into the streets. Cities that had survived the war celebrated cautiously, knowing the cost of victory had been high. Soldiers, scientists, pilots, and civilians, everyone who had contributed, stood together. They had done what no one thought possible. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Humans were not weak. Humans were not expendable. Humans were dangerous, not because of technology, but because of spirit, because of courage, because they never gave up. The Zerathon Empire had been defeated not by superior weapons, not by overwhelming numbers, but by strategy, emotion, sacrifice, and adaptability. Humans had proven that the most underestimated species could shock the galaxy. Across distant planets, alien civilizations whispered stories of Earth's fight, stories of a species that faced annihilation and refused to surrender. And for the first time, a new respect was born. Humans had not only defended their planet, they had rewritten the rules of war. The moral was clear. No matter how small, how weak, or how underestimated a species or a person might seem, resilience and courage can change the course of history. The galaxy would remember this, and Earth would never be the same. As humans looked up at the stars, they knew one thing. The universe had underestimated them once. It would never do so again. If you believe in the strength of humanity, the courage to stand against impossible odds, and the power of never giving up, like this video, subscribe, and share with everyone, because this was humanity at its finest. The humans had won. The galaxy had learned. Humanity had triumphed.